What's good, everyone? Welcome back to Raggedy Ass Bitch TV. Unfiltered, unpaid, unbought. I'm your host, and today we need to have a serious conversation. This one's for the young woman, the ones who are just starting out, the ones who never saw a healthy relationship modeled for them. The ones who are asking genuine questions because nobody ever taught them. I saw a comment from a 23-year-old woman asking why money is so important in relationships. And I need to address this because baby girl is about to walk into a trap and she doesn't even see it coming. So, let's get into it. Let me read you this comment word for word. And I quote, "I have a genuine question." Let me read you this comment word for word. And I quote, "I have a genuine question. I'm new to your page. I'm a young 23-year-old who is learning how a man is supposed to treat me because I was never taught and I've never seen a happy relationship. My question is, why is money so important, and why do you talk about giving money to a woman all the time?" First of all, I appreciate this question. This is a real question from someone who genuinely doesn't know. And that's not her fault. Nobody taught her. But, sweetheart, we need to talk. Because the way you're thinking about this is going to get you in trouble. Here's why this question concerns me. You're asking why money is important, like it's optional, like it's about being materialistic or superficial. But money isn't about designer bags and fancy dinners. Money is about survival. And right now, at 23, you might be making enough to take care of yourself. You might have a job, pay your bills, handle your business, and that's great. I'm proud of you for that. But let me ask you something. What happens when it's not just you anymore? What happens when you get pregnant? What happens when you have a baby who needs diapers, formula, clothes, doctor visits, daycare? What happens when you need a bigger place because a studio apartment doesn't work with kids? What happens when your car breaks down and you need to fix it ASAP because you have to get to work and drop the baby at daycare? What happens when medical bills start piling up? What happens when your enough for just me suddenly has to stretch to cover you and children? And if you picked up a dusty bum, a man who contributes nothing, who's carrying all of that? You? All by yourself? You'll be working while pregnant, working while recovering from childbirth, working while taking care of kids, managing the household, paying all the bills. Because you chose a man who only wanted to lay up with somebody. A man who contributes nothing but expects everything. That's a trap, baby girl, and I don't want you to fall into it. Now, before we go further, let me address something. Because I know there are men watching this, men in the comments, men with their aunties in a wad because we're having this conversation. There are men out here big mad that someone is cautioning women not to pick up dusty bums. They're calling it a cult. Can't even spell cult right, but they're out here mad as hell. And you know why they're mad? Because we're teaching women to have standards. We're teaching women to recognize their value. We're teaching women not to settle for men who contribute nothing. And that terrifies certain men because they know they're dusty bums. They know they're not bringing anything to the table. And they are afraid that if women start having standards, they'll be left behind. So they try to shame us. They call us gold diggers. They say we're materialistic. They say we're part of a cult. Again, can't spell. But what they're really saying is, stop telling women they deserve better because I'm not better. Too bad. We're going to keep saying it because young women deserve to know the truth before they end up pregnant and struggling with a man who won't even get up off the couch. And you know what's worse? This video was actually a man giving women advice. They are out for his head because he's cautioning women, along with other women, that it makes no sense to settle for less. That you should know your worth and not settle for men who will not treat you the way you're supposed to be treated, and at the end of the day, you wind up with the short end of the stick. So let me be very clear about what we mean when we talk about money in relationships. We're not saying you should only date rich men. Men should buy you designer bags. You should sit at home and do nothing while he works. Money is the only thing that matters. What we're saying, a real partner contributes to the household. Partnership means shared responsibility. Money matters because survival matters. You deserve someone who shows up, not just exists. If you're working and he's working, you build together. You both contribute. Maybe it's 50-50. Maybe it's proportional to what each person makes, but you're both contributing. If you're home with the babies, he provides financially while you handle the home and children. That's a fair division of labor, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have a role to play in parenting his children. If he's going through something, lost a job, dealing with an emergency, you support him temporarily. But it's temporary, not permanent. He gets back up and contributes again. But what we're warning you about is men who want you to work full-time or multiple jobs, pay all or most of the bills, do all the cooking, do all the cleaning, do all the child care, manage the household, have sex on demand, because basically you're being his mommy maid, bang maid, while he contributes what exactly? His presence? His penis? His potential? No, ma'am. That's not partnership. That's exploitation. And these are the same men who love to ask, woman, what do you bring to the table? Sir? Sir? What do you bring to the table? If you want a maid, someone to clean your mess, a cook, someone to feed you, a sex worker, someone to service you on demand, a nanny, someone to raise your kids, a provider, someone to pay your bills, and you're offering nothing in return except your existence, what is your purpose? And after time, the sex isn't even good. The head is terrible. The conversation is boring. Nothing about him is great. So again, I ask, what is your purpose? What are you bringing? You want to be treated like a king while contributing like a peasant. You want authority without responsibility. You want benefits without investment. And then you get mad when women say, "No, thank you. I'm good." Now, some of these men want to talk about going back to traditional times, traditional gender roles, traditional relationships. Okay, let's talk about it. In actual traditional setups, you know what the man did? He provided for everything. The house, the bills, the food, the children's needs, his wife's needs, everything. His wife didn't have to work outside the home because he made enough to support the entire family comfortably. That was the deal. He provided financially. She managed the home and children. Both roles were hard. Both required work, but it was a division of labor that made sense. But you know what these modern men want? They want traditional authority without traditional responsibility. They want you to work full time like it's 2025, but submit like it's 1950. Split bills 50-50 or pay more, but do 100% of the domestic labor. Provide financially like a man, but serve like a traditional wife. Have modern responsibilities, but accept traditional limitations. That's not traditional. That's not equal. That's exploitation. You can't cherry pick the parts of tradition that benefit you while ignoring the parts that require you to step up. If you want a traditional wife who stays home, raises the kids, and takes care of the house, you better be a traditional husband who provides for all of it financially. If you can't do that, then we're not doing traditional. We're doing modern partnership, where both people contribute to everything. Pick one. You don't get to have it both ways. So, let me tell you what real partnership looks like. Because you said you've never seen it. And that's not your fault. But you need to know what to look for. A real partner contributes financially, has a job, or is actively working towards something. Pays their fair share of bills, proportional to income if there's a big difference. Doesn't expect you to carry everything alone. Doesn't make excuses for why they can't work. Does their share of cooking, cleaning, household management. Takes care of their own basic needs. Doesn't need you to be their mother. If there are kids, actively parents them, not babysits their own children. doesn't act like housework is beneath them, contributes emotionally, shows up when you need support, communicates openly and honestly, takes responsibility for their actions, doesn't play victim or make everything about them, shows respect, treats you as an equal partner, not a subordinate or a resource, values your time, energy, and contributions, makes decisions with you, not for you, doesn't try to control or manipulate you, has goals and drive, is working towards something in life, has ambition and motivation, doesn't just coast through life expecting you to carry them, takes initiative without needing to be pushed. That's a partner. That's what you should be looking for. Not someone who checks one box but fails at everything else. Not someone with potential but no action. Not someone who says the right things but doesn't do anything. A real partner who shows up in all the ways that matter. Now, baby girl, I need you to hear this. You are 23. You are making your own money. You think that's enough right now. And maybe it is for now. But I've seen this story play out 1,000 times. A young woman thinks, I don't need a man to take care of me. I can take care of myself. Love is enough. So she picks a man based on feelings alone, based on chemistry, based on how he makes her feel. And she ignores all the red flags. He doesn't have steady work. He's always between jobs. He has excuses for everything. He's great at talking about his dreams, but terrible at working toward them. He's happy to let her pay for everything. She thinks it's okay. I make enough. We'll figure it out. And then she gets pregnant. And suddenly, everything changes. She's dealing with pregnancy symptoms, but still working because bills don't stop. She has a doctor appointment, but he can't drive her because he doesn't have gas money. She needs to buy maternity clothes, but she's already stretched thin. The baby comes. Now there's diapers, formula, clothes, doctor visits, daycare. She's exhausted from being up all night with the baby, but she still has to work because he's not contributing. She's doing everything, working, parenting, managing the house, paying the bills. And he's what? Playing video games? Hanging with friends? Looking for work but never actually finding it? And now she's trapped. She has a baby to care for. She can't afford daycare on her own, but she can't afford not to work. She's stuck with a man who contributes nothing because leaving would be even harder. That's the trap. That's what we're trying to save you from. So, to answer your original question, why is money so important? Money is important because children need to eat. They need clothes, diapers, formula, food. Love doesn't feed babies. You need a place to live. Rent or mortgage has to be paid. The landlord doesn't accept good vibes and positive energy. Emergencies happen. Cars break down. People get sick. Things need to be fixed. You need money to handle these things. The future matters. You need to save, to plan, to build something. You can't do that if you're constantly struggling. If you're working, your time has value. If you're working multiple jobs to support a man who works none, you're trading your time, your health, your energy for someone who's giving nothing back. It's not about being materialistic. It's not about gold digging. It's about survival. It's about building a life. It's about making sure you and your children are taken care of. And if a man can't or won't contribute to that, he's not a partner. He's a dependent. And you're not his mother. So, here's what you need to know. Green flags, look for these. Has steady employment or is actively building something. Pays his own bills without needing help. Talks about the future in terms of we and our. Shows up when he says he will. Takes responsibility for his actions. Respects your time and energy. Contributes without being asked. Treats you as an equal. Red flags. Run from these. Always between jobs with excuses for why. Borrows money frequently or hints that he needs financial help. Talks big but has no action behind it. Expects you to take care of him, cooking, cleaning, managing his life. Gets defensive when you talk about finances or the future. Talks about all his dreams but does nothing to achieve them. Makes you feel guilty for having standards or expectations. Calls you materialistic or a gold digger for wanting a partner who contributes. Pay attention to patterns, not potential. Don't fall for I'm going to, or I'm working on, or once I get that job, start that business, finish that project. Look at what he's doing right now. Because that's who he is, not who he says he'll be. And this is why standards matter. This is why we tell women to have standards. Not because we're stuck up, not because we think we're better than everyone, but because standards protect you. When you have standards, you don't settle for men who contribute nothing. When you have standards, you don't accept disrespect, laziness, or exploitation. When you have standards, you filter out the dusty bums before they can trap you. And those men in the comments who are mad about it, they're mad because they don't meet standards. They're mad because women are learning to protect themselves. They're mad because they can't exploit women who know better. Too bad. Have standards anyway. You said you've never seen a happy relationship, so you don't have a model. But you know what you do have access to? The stories of women who made mistakes, who picked dusty bums, who are now struggling. Learn from them. Listen to them. The single mothers working 3 jobs while their baby daddy contributes nothing. The wives paying all the bills while their husbands sit at home. The women doing everything while their partners do nothing. They're trying to warn you. They're trying to tell you what they learned the hard way. Don't ignore them. Don't think that won't be me. It can be you if you don't learn from their experiences. Ask yourself why this message makes you so uncomfortable. If you're a man who works hard, contributes to your household, treats your partner with respect, shows up as a real partner, then this message isn't about you. You have nothing to be mad about. But if you're mad, if this hit a nerve, if you're in the comments calling us names, that tells me you're exactly the type of man we're warning women about. You're mad because we're teaching women not to settle for you. You're mad because you know you don't meet the standards we're describing. You're mad because you want access to women who will take care of you without you having to step up. Too bad. Do better. Be better. Or stay mad. Because we're not going to stop telling women the truth to protect your feelings. So, sweetheart, I hope this answered your question. Money matters because survival matters. Because children need to be fed and housed. Because you deserve a partner who contributes, not a dependent who drains you. Don't pick up dusty bums just because you think your money is enough right now. Look for a real partner. Someone who shows up. Someone who contributes. Someone who treats partnership as a team effort, not a free ride. You deserve better than struggling alone while carrying a man who contributes nothing. You deserve better than working yourself to death while he plays video games. You deserve better than being someone's safety net instead of their chosen partner. But you have to know you deserve better. You have to have standards. You have to protect yourself because nobody else is going to do it for you. Learn from the women who came before you, the ones who made mistakes, so you don't have to. Don't be another cautionary tale. Be the woman who learned, who has standards, who chose wisely. Your future self will thank you. This has been Raggedy Ass Bitch TV. Stay unfiltered, stay unbought, stay protected, stay free. Peace.